Gabriel. Ordinary life. Life which you and me see every day. Life which is meaningless. Life which has no taste whatever. Life that is just boring. And you go through it. You have to go through it. You have to get along through it. But it is in a way exhausting. It's not thrilling. It is not exciting. Exciting, thrilling. In Gabriel's mind, these two words, they were all intertangled. They were swirling around. And ordinary people, they don't understand this. They never understand people. They are so judgmental. They live in little boxes. And we live in little boxes as well. Gabriel, this is a little box. This house is a little box. Gabriel immediately intervened. No, Mr. Medicine, this is a very beautiful house. It is part of you. Of course it is, Gabriel, of course, because we are adaptable. We live in the same little box we saw in others. We say we live in the same little box like anyone else. Because you have to adapt. You have to adapt in order to accomplish something in your life, in order not to draw attention. Because out there, the folks, those ordinary people, they are too judgmental. Out there, there is wildness. But here things are different. And again, Bill stopped, looked at Gabriel thoughtfully. I want to tell you a secret, Gabriel. I want to tell you, and I want to show you the secret of life, how things can become different, how things are different. And now I want to show it to you because I trust you. You are someone special, and I see in you someone special. Special like me, special like Patty, special like this family. And these thoughts, even now, bring goosebumps to Gabriel. Special like me. Gabriel, he's shaking all over. Bill, this man, called him like him. And maybe he was like him, but the thought alone made him scary. He like them. Could he be like them? Could he be one of them? One of them who gets excited by this. And he felt a shock. He felt a numb sensation pervading his entire body, prostrating him right on the bed, and he stood and stormed him. Like him, like this man, and how he admired Bill, how he looked up on him, how he wanted to be him, and even emulated him. But then all changed all of a sudden. It changed. It was revolting. Gabriel didn't say anything against it. He could not say. He was tongue-tied. After Bill ushered him in to this room. And it was an ordinary room which was not even locked. An ordinary room. Gabriel, before, walked past a couple of times and did never ask what it was for. Everyone could have entered it. And it was hideous. It was hideous. It was revolting. It was beyond imagination. It was shocking for Gabriel. He didn't know what to do with himself. He didn't know what to respond. And Bill thought that Gabriel would think the same. Bill thought that Gabriel was one of them, would be understanding, would not be judgmental. But Gabriel, he could not hide his goosebumps. He tried for the last time, his last effort to somehow please Bill, somehow don't make it visible. Try to force not a smile, but a normal, nonchalant gaze. And he's not sure whether he managed it. He's not sure whether he could make Bill believe that he is not judgmental. But what he saw in this room changed his life forever. What he saw in this room changed his perception of Bill, about his wife Patty, and about Mary forever. Just an ordinary room everyone could have walked into. An ordinary room where these things happen. And was Mary part of it? Did she know about it? And all this time she knew about it. Maybe Gabriel was chosen. Maybe it was not chance after all that they met. Maybe it was determined. Maybe Bill wanted someone like him. And how he looked at Gabriel, as he would know what he's talking about this thrill, about this special excitement, what one would need in order to make one's life, to sweeten one's life. This is what Bill said. Sometimes you just need to sweeten your life. You just need to make changes. And these words still echo in Gabriel's mind. And he was struck. He could hardly move. His entire body was stalled, left there like a clump of clay, curdled, and without knowing what to do, he stood there in the middle of this room and stared at the man whom he once admired and looked up to. 11. Jane approaches her home. She of course thought it weird that Nancy, the best friend, and as well as her manager, did not pick her up from the airport. Well, she expects, of course, that they have probably planned a surprise party because it is too quiet there. No one called her. Nancy likes these things. Nancy, this obese woman, she's some sort of a child. Jane thinks to herself, a child who probably still lives through her childhood, who needs these kinds of stuff. Probably Jane actually has never shown any interest in Nancy's life. Nancy is this fragile girl who still has this romantic notion, this almost petulant notion about life and about surprise parties, and that everyone can be taken not seriously. And despite the fact that Nancy is supposed to be Jane's assistant, more and more it became apparent that Jane actually is some sort of the big sister in this friendship, that she takes care of Nancy, and Jane realized more and more that Nancy needs this. She needs to be around Jane. She needs to care for Jane. She needs to make these parties, make these surprise parties. She needs to believe that Jane is comfortable with her, that Jane and Nancy, that they have this special bond, a special bond which has to be renewed every time, because Jane more and more realized Nancy is this woman who has a very low self-esteem and who is very fearful and frightened that she would lose her friends. Jane thinks to herself that Nancy probably has only Jane she can call a good friend. So Jane let it happen. In a way, she likes to be the big sister for Nancy. And even though she doesn't like surprise parties, she doesn't like people going in her own home while she's not there. She doesn't like anyone sneaking around her own home, or even people having a key for their home. But however, for Nancy, she makes this exception. After all, what can she do about it? She needs Nancy. She needs her as part of her life, not only as a friendship, but as a part of her life. She's part of her identity. She's the part people see her through. She's the connection to all others. Jane walks into her home, and like expected, it is a surprise party, a homecoming party. It is not Jane's birthday, and even though no one actually really knows Jane's birthday, she has not celebrated her birthday in years, the real one, with a real date. Only back home where people knew her real name, there she celebrated her birthday, but it was not a real celebration. Her older brother hadn't come home. The family was in trouble. There were some issues. Jane's parents, they were mad. They were infuriated. Jane's mother was weeping for her son, her only son. Something happened. He got himself in trouble again. This is all bad. His mother wept, and everyone had forgotten about Jane, about her birthday, because then she learned in school that people celebrate birthdays, that it is a necessity that one every year celebrates that one is birth, that people show one that they appreciate that you are there for them, that you are alive, that they appreciate you alive, your being, that you are a valuable member of them, and they need a special day in a year. They need a special day in the year to tell you that, a special occasion where someone, even those who are not good with words or struggle with words, can come forward and convey you their regards. A special day is needed. And Jane thinks about this. She thinks about back in the days, with her family, with her close family, the small world, the small cosmos she lived in. Later, her mother started to remember her birthdays, but it was never a really special occasion. It was not the special occasion she dreamed of. Jane always wanted to be one of these women, one of these special persons, extraordinary. And extraordinary people, they are celebrated. People look at them with awe. And extraordinary people, they can eat candy. They can eat a lot of candy. They can enjoy everything, every part of their life, without having been deprived of great experiences. Jane looks at all the crowd, these people who admire her, who look up on her, who think of Jane Reynolds as a great contribution to the world. Isn't this what she always wanted? Isn't this what she always dreamed about back in home when she was just a no-name girl?